Good evening, my family. This is your boy, well, your boy. It's your grown man here. This is Bobby Hill here with another episode of the Big Down. Just day by day, this is going on, trying to add on to what I've started, trying to get more comfortable with what I'm doing. Trying, get more confidence, get more able to talk to you through the camera. And there's nobody here, just me talking to myself. And basically talking to myself, but talking to you. You know, 'Cause I'm trying to. Each time I do it, I try to get better at it. Try to perfect it. I owe that. If I'm gonna be out here, trying to put myself out here and trying to be here for people, I need to make sure that I, practice my craft and perfect it and take it seriously. And that's what I do. I'm taking it seriously. I'm trying to, make sure that, when I do something, I put my all into it, give it my heart, because I'm speaking from the heart, all honest, speaking from the heart. I'm not here trying to be, care about being politically correct or, you know, trying to appease somebody or trying to protect. So no, none of that. I'm just speaking from the heart. And when I talk about my experiences, I talk about them from my perspective, what I've seen with my eyes, what I know, what I've heard. Just straight knowledge, and not anything like any innuendo, anything like that. So, I just speak from my perspective. You know, One thing that I really ain't have any idea what the topic was today. I just was thinking all day while I was talking about it. Ever since like I've always in my life been like I was an athlete, so I've always been like athletically inclined as far as my body, as far as staying in shape, as far as being active. Part genetics. So I always try to be try to stay in shape, try to stay healthy. You know, at times when I was younger, when I was in sports, I did it more vigorously than when I got older. Now I just try, I do it, try to maintain. I try to, yeah, just maintain and still show, test my strength a little bit. I'm not out here trying to lift 400 pounds. There's no need for me to do it. There's no need for me to squat all that weight. There's no need for me to do all that. So I try to work smarter. I got, excuse me, I got my lovely wife in there, and she works out. And she's my workout partner. It's the first time in my life. I told her today it's my first time in my life that I ever had a workout partner. And it's just, it's good to have somebody that motivating you as you motivate her. And we look at each other, looking, look at each other's progress. She tell me what she sees, and I tell her what I see. We help each other out in there. Try to pretty well educated in fitness, as far as knowing like what to do, and as far as with your body and stuff. So I help her out. Some she never had. Somebody, like somebody close to her like that would be able to have that knowledge to help her out. So I got the knowledge of a physical trainer. I don't got a paper. I ain't got a paper with my name signed on it, but I got the knowledge of a physical trainer. I've been dealing with, physical fitness since I was in the eighth grade. So as far as actual hands on, I mean, as far as learning about the body, I've been learning that for a while. Since I was, 7, 8 years old. So well aware about the body and what we need to stay healthy and be functional stuff like that. So we want to talk to like talk to the men. The men is like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. The men of our age, my it's either in their 50s or in their 40s, coming to their 50s and stuff like that. Just want to talk about health and eat right, and the importance to eat right. Pretty sure throughout your life, especially I can only talk about I can't talk about everybody else because people cultures are different. I can just talk about black males. What we grew up doing, eating and stuff like that. That's we sort of grew up eating like a lot of fried foods in grease. You know, stuff that's high in cholesterol, high in salt, and we saw that they were saying that we have stigma as far as having heart related issues because of the greasy foods, clogging up our arteries. When you eating that food, it sits on your stomach, and what you do after that, you go to sleep. Stuff like that is no good. As my wife would say in Spanish, there's no bueno. That's no good. I mean, come on. Then we, excuse me. Then when you see the results of that, we see, a lifetime of eating stuff like that. You see a lot of people, in our community and stuff, being overweight, obese, morbidly obese, and stuff like that. And it's end up losing good people at an early age because because of the food we eat. And I understand because I ate it too. I ate fried chicken. I ate all the stuff. I ate everything except beets and damn spinach, and that's for personal reasons. But yeah, I don't. Oh my god! I says personal reasons. I got one story. I'll give you a story why I don't eat beets and why I don't eat spinach. Real quick, side note. I I love cranberry sauce. I love it. I love it. I eat it straight out the can. I especially love it. I always thought it was a Christmas, Christmas entree. So I always ate it during Christmas. My mom always, had it. The usual. She'll take it out the can, put it there, slice it up. I used to eat it, take it, eat it all the time. I loved it. Oh my God, I loved it so much at a young age. And one day in school, they did not have any signs on the food that was sitting there in the tray. You know how they have the food spread out. We had the little glass there. We picked the food, so all I see is a round purple substance that looked like cranberry sauce, and I'm happy. I'm like, oh my God, is it Christmas? Lord have mercy, we about to have cranberry sauce. Oh my God. So, as a little kid, I was happy. I was happy that we about to have cranberry sauce. So I ordered one. I got one. You know, went and sat down. You know, got me. I didn't have a knife. I had a fork. Went in through the fork and went straight through, just like it was cranberry sauce. Here, everything. Man, I put that thing on the fork and I messed around and put that thing in my mouth and I bit down on it. Oh my God, it was a beat. It was beats. Oh my God, it was the worst taste ever. And not at the time, I felt like it was the worst taste ever. And I mean, it wasn't the worst taste ever, but I had my mind set on cranberry sauce. Do you understand the disappointment? And mentally, that has always stayed with me. So I would never eat beets ever in my life because I felt like beets played a trick on me. I just have, I don't eat them. And spinach. I don't. I eat spinach now, but I eat like fresh spinach. I don't eat canned spinach because this. I was a Popeyes fan growing up, and I love Popeye. I love it. I used to watch Popeye. I watched the movie with. I love the movie with Robin Williams. Rest in peace. What was her name? Shelley Duvall. Oh, no, yeah, I guess it was Shelley Duvall. Who played Olive Oil. I love that movie. I love Popeye and everything, and I was one of them. And I was young and I was impressionable, and I really thought that you could get strong by eating spinach. So my mom bought me. She was like, "I'm gonna fix you, little boy. I'm gonna fix you, buddy." and she bought me a can of spinach one time, and oh my god, I took one bite of that thing, I almost threw up, and she sat there and made me eat all that. You know, the most disgusting stuff I ever had in my life. And as a kid, that was the most disgusting thing I ever had in my life. But that was a lesson learned. But now I eat it now. I eat it now. I eat fresh spinach. I eat like in salads and stuff like that. Now, Subway sandwich. Like if I go to Subway or other places that sell them fresh deli sandwiches, I get spinach on it and stuff, and I eat that. What else I don't? What else I don't eat? Liver. I hate liver. I don't even know. Oh my god, eating liver is like eating a belt with gravy on it. That's liver. People try to convince me that liver tastes good, and I try to convince myself that liver tastes good. My body and my brain told me, and my taste buds told me, nah, cause you good. Liver ain't no only liver that the only liver that can accompany this body is the liver that's right here. You don't need to bring no more liver in our system. So nah, I can't deal with liver. I don't care. You can put gravy, onions. You can dress it up all day, make it look like a steak, make it look like chicken, whatever. Liver is liver, and I don't mess with it. Whatever. But I digress. Get back on track. You know, we all, and ate all the foods, our grandparents and parents ate from us, for whatever tradition, coming up as a black American in this country, we, have tradition as far as with food, certain foods we eat and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, they were delicious. Oh my God, they were the best thing in the world. But, there are consequences, will continue, lifetime eating all that food over your lifetime, that takes a toll on your body. And we all know people who, maybe are currently struggling or have passed away too early because, they have had issues with their body related to, clogged arteries or maybe, being overweight and breathing problems and heart problems and diabetes and putting you at risk for stroke and all that, man. Things like that. They could. It's trying to help you. Maybe it can't be fully prevented, but you can, help do something. You know, just is watch. Just watch what you eat. Stop eating all these. You know, I'm saying you have to cut it out completely. And I understand some people that might not be realistic, but there's take a inventory on how much processed food that you put in your body. You know, foods that are processed and got all them, we call them additives and preservatives to make them last longer so they won't go bad. Stuff like that. You taking that stuff into your body. And there's long term effects for all of that. You don't want to. You want to eat stuff that's like grown, stuff that's grown from the ground. Yeah, and stuff, green vegetables, green leafy vegetables, and stuff like that. You want to eat that stuff. That stuff that cleans your body out, cleans your system out. That's what you want. You don't want stuff to sit on your stomach, just sit there. Make you tired, make you not want to do anything, make you not want to be productive. You don't want to. You stay away from them foods. You want to eat them a little bit, but you want to, try to put stuff in your body is going to help you. Put stuff in your body is going to benefit you. Stuff that is grown from the earth, you know, not stuff that's come from a lab or stuff that is processed and one five different things put together and make a product for you to consume and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not saying cut everything out completely. I'm a realist, but you know, take this, be mindful of that stuff, because I don't want everybody to be here for as long as they can. you know, because life is precious. Because you only get one life, so you want to, take advantage of it while you can. You don't want to wait until you get that damn diagnosis, and then you try to start changing your life and living healthy and eating healthy and stuff. It's a little too late. You want to get there before then. Like I said, getting to you want to ideally you want to do it. Your whole life. I'm saying if you in your 40s and stuff, and you just you're not feeling you're hurting and stuff like that, man. Think about, like you said, changing how you eat stuff, changing what you eat. Don't always eat them heavy foods. Stay away from sugars. Try to stay away from sugar. Sugar has a lot of problems. They sell it everywhere, but they're not going to tell you that it affects you. It makes you overweight, makes you obese, makes you, diabetic, all that stuff like that, diabetes, and all. Just understand that, you know, like I said, I'm a realist. Understand people might can't cut sugar out completely, but you can control your intake. You don't always have to have sugar. I'm saying he's just trying to, so I'm not trying to be, act like I'm trying to be preachy or be a know-it-all or anything like that. I'm just trying to, give, like I said, give you some knowledge, something I've learned. Like I said, it might help you out, might help somebody out. Some people might not be from them. They might have their own way. They might have their own idea of, what they feel to be healthy, and that's fine. I know everybody got their own thing. I'm everybody here. Like I said, I'm not here. Understand I'm a realist that everybody might not feel me, but I have to say at the moment, everybody ain't gonna feel me, but there might be a few people that will, and those are the people that I'm talking to at the moment. And there might be sometimes later on when I'll be, the people that feel me now might not feel me some later, but the people that didn't feel me might feel me later. It happens. So it's just, like I said, but I just want to keep y'all here engaged so we can talk. If you don't agree with me, we can agree to disagree. We all human beings, we all got our own brain, so we are not all gonna think alike all the time. But we have that respect and that common decency so we can hear each other out, and maybe we can learn something from each other. And that's the goal. We can learn from each other. So we can coexist out here. All this negative stuff, all this negativity out here, you just want to, try to find a way to stay positive out here, because you can get wrapped up in all this stuff that's going on, and be all doom and gloom and stuff, and all it does is just tear you down mentally. It tears you down physically. So you can't, you sort of don't want to put forth the effort because you got doom and gloom all the time. And you got to try to stay positive. And as long as you hear, we all got that habit in this world, right? Just try to do the best you can do. You don't have to move a mountain. Just take care of you, take care of your household, take care of your family. And that's all you need to do. Every now and then, look at, now and then, ask about your neighbor. Take care. You don't have to take care of your neighbor, no. But ask about your neighbor. See how your neighbor's doing. You know. But we have to start. Leading this healthy lifestyle. That's part of us. And continue to be here, continue to be strong, continue to move forward, man. We got to be healthy. We got to be healthy. You want to, especially at a young age, the kids, you want to work and all this stuff. Part of working is being healthy. You can't be healthy. I mean, you're not gonna make no money if you calling in because you're sick, and if you're sick because what you know, for whatever reason, and maybe if it's related to your health or your weight or what you consume in your body and stuff. That stuff you can control. You know. So you gotta start taking that stuff seriously. You gotta start. Don't wait until you can't be waiting until things are, your back is against the wall, and then you start trying to, move mountains, and you expect everybody to move mountains with you, but it was all your responsibility first, and like we do as humans. Sometimes we pass the buck, we push the rock on down the road, but now you can't push it no more. You got to deal with it. It won't move no more. You got to deal with it. You know. But it's good that I'm like I said, it's good that that I can be here. That I'm trying to be here just to give y'all some education because there was nobody here. I mean, like I said, I wish there was somebody like me here when I was young that was trying to educate people, try to help you out, and try to show you, there's different ways to do stuff, not just the way that you grew up within your household. There's other ways to do stuff, and then it's okay to go against what everybody else is doing. It's okay to be different. It's okay, everybody want to eat this and do this, and if you want to do, everybody want to eat burgers. If you want to eat you a sub sandwich, go get you a sub sandwich. Don't feel like you got to explain yourself or got to apologize because you're not doing what everybody else doing. Do you? But what I'm saying is you got to, like I said, you got to prioritize this stuff, man, because this stuff is serious out here, man. The air out here, is bad out here. Always hot. It's hard to some places hard to breathe. Hard to get rain. Some places just dry. I mean, it's just crazy out here. I'm saying you just gotta take care of yourself. You just gotta, take care of yourself, take care of your health. Like I said, us as black men, I want us we need to take care of our health, take care of each other. We got to because ain't nobody else gonna take care of us. We got to start taking care of each other, you know? And here's the sad, I'm gonna tell you what I when I be out with my wife, in Texas, there's the grocery store, of course, um Walmart is everywhere. Walmart all over the country and stuff like that. But every state has like their own personal like grocery store or another place alternative to Walmart. When I was in North Carolina, they had stuff like Kroger, Harris Teeter, Food Lion, and different stores besides Walmart. Here, the main store in Texas is called HEB. It is, it's top notch. I ain't gonna lie. I'm maybe because I stay in Texas, but anybody listening from Texas, they've been to Texas, they've been to HEB, they know what I'm talking about. You ever get a chance to go to Texas, go to HEB. You go to a nice one, a big one, HEB Plus. It's nice. It's nice. That's a nice grocery store. You know, very nice. But yeah, I mean, me and my wife go there shopping all the time for groceries and stuff. And the time, I see, I see black men in there. I see black, because it's a very, San Antonio is a very multicultural city. They have a lot of cultures here. This is crazy. That's one thing that attracted me to San Antonio because it had a lot of different cultures and stuff like that. It's very got a lot of Indians, like I said, not Native American Indians, but people from the country of India. Yeah, there are a lot of like I say, Middle Eastern people. They have a lot here. A lot of like South American people here, Central American. It's very multicultural. They got a lot of different cultures, like as far as restaurants. You got a lot of different places to eat. Like you can find, Peruvian food, Indian food, Colombian food, African food. I mean, it's everywhere. Of course, your French and Italian and all that. It's Texas, so you got to get some steak. They got a lot of different cultures around. They got a lot of different things. Okay, so when we be in the HEB, so I'll be walking around with my wife. I might see a couple. I see black men. I see every go. I might see a few black, not a lot, but I see a few. Sometimes I see more than other times. So but every it's always been the same. It's a pattern is going on. It's always been the same. And personally, me because I'm from North Carolina, Southern hospitality is a thing. It's me when I see, especially since I've been driving trucks. I made it a conscious effort that every time that I cross paths with another black man, I always say what's up or acknowledge him. Say what's up, my brother. Anything to acknowledge him. Just to, either we just have eye contact and do like that. Anything just to acknowledge that, hey, I'm here, we here. I acknowledge you, you acknowledge me. We got. It might not be the same struggle, but we're familiar with it. There's some kind of struggle we're going through in this country. Being a black man in America. But yeah, I see a few. I might see a few black men, in HEB and stuff. So, and I always say what's up. I don't care whatever. I always say what's up. But the thing is, who speaks back to me? And it's very interesting. Um, most like I said, if it's a black man if he's a black man with a black woman, he always speaks. And like, oh, what up, my brother? He snap me up. What up, brother? What up, man? All everything. That's always. I never issue with that. Never, always. But let's say if I see a black man with like a white woman or a Hispanic woman or any other, sometimes yeah, black woman or Hispanic, no, a white woman or Hispanic woman, and I, be like, what up? And I'm like, what's up, brother? What's up? You know, I say about 95% of the time, they do not speak to me back. They don't even acknowledge me. And I go up to them like, "What up, brother?" Like with respect. I don't come in here like acting like an idiot, man. I be like I would see anybody, like I would see you out here if I saw you. Like, "What up, brother?" Talk to you with respect and everything. There are people. There's one. The black men, with non-black women do not speak to me. Which I thought was very, very, very shocking. Every time, and many times when I see black men by themselves, and I'll be like, and I speak to them, I'm like, what's up, man? What's up, brother? What's up? And a lot of them don't even acknowledge me. Some of them act like they damn scared of me or something, like I owe them money or they owe me money or something, man. They damn act like something. I don't know what the hell, like I done did something to them and they ain't getting nothing to them. And they are always, some of them, act like they're scared, but some of them I get real love from. So that is, you know, that is always a interesting, aspect that I have to deal with, here in San Antonio. But it still don't distract me or stop me from showing love. Every black man I still see them show love because it's always we all in the same struggle here, all in the same struggle, all in the same struggle. You know, trying to get through this struggle, trying to not trying to maintain their own dignity and is trying to move forward. And I know there's some. I know there's some just like all other ones. I mean, we have, we're a little fractured a little bit too, especially the one like I'm trying to think I said, and I'm trying to, get my thoughts together before I say it because, I don't, it's hard to me. I don't want to get, I know I be going all over the place a little bit sometimes, but I don't want from help to this right here. But it's hard for me to like not respect, but it's hard for me to talk to or respect like people who like black men, like who support, like Donald Trump or support Republicans. Period. Look at how they come off and stuff. It's like they come off as like trying to impress people, you know, and not being true to who they are. It's almost like they turn their back on us. You know, why are you sitting up here supporting this man who don't care about you, who don't care, he don't care about you because all these people who was being cheerleaders for them, all them black men who was cheerleading for them when it was time to give out cabinet positions, how many got one? Now you sitting a little bit of egg on your face, and we sitting here looking at. We told you. We told you. We told you. I'm sitting up here acting crazy, man. You're not acting Kanye crazy, but you acting crazy, man. I heard, caping for this man who don't care about you, who don't care about nothing but himself, and people don't want to see that, and people don't want to like acknowledge that. Not like the people who have voted for him, like the supporters. And there's some people who have, there's some people who have stepped back, but it's too late. You done cast your vote. We done told y'all not to. Now all of a sudden, now you want us to give sympathy to you because you see the error in your ways, and we was trying to tell you error in your ways before you made the error. But hey, I mean, to me, I'm not panicking. I'm like, because I'm used to this, chaos and stuff, man. Because United States, I just feel like, us growing up, I always felt like funny about us trying to be the police of the world. Because I always felt like we was trying to be the police of the world. And I'm like, why are we doing this for? And we have so much going on in this country that we don't deal with. Just like right now. While we sitting up here dealing with all these, while we sitting up here worrying about all this mess over here, and we can't even deal with our mess, all this stuff that's going on right here, you know, we concentrated on our efforts, not to send billions of dollars to Benjamin Netanyahu and all this stuff. We just need to take that money and help, feed our daggone our hungry, feed our children, you know, give these teachers some more money so they can educate these kids so this next generation can thrive. They're taking money away. The teachers don't want to teach because they're not getting paid, and they don't want to deal with these daggone students because they don't want to piss one of these students off, and these students come back here and do something crazy. I mean, everything is stressful, and they taking money away from them, which adds to the stress. And you know who suffers? The kids. But they want to convince you that something that's happening on the other side of the world is affecting you. Like that's okay. Never, that's why that's why that went from my show yesterday. I said we need some more leaders here. We need young leaders. For that, we need to get people out of here. They got their own self interest up here and don't care about the masses. They do not care about the masses. Only every 4 years or every 2 years or every time whenever their damn election come up, that's when they care about you. That other than that, they don't care nothing about you. They don't care about them damn town halls and all that. Y'all be yelling at them and stuff like that. They don't care. They playing for that. They already know they gonna get yelled at. They prepare for that and they go right back to their daggone cushy office in Washington. Looking like these fools think I'm about to do something with them. You think y'all will phase me because y'all yelled at me? They don't care about all that. Man, I'm saying we need to get people in there that care about the well-being of the people, not their own personal interests. You get in the government to help the people, not to align your pockets. That is not the interest. That is not the purpose of working for the government. But it's turned into that. Everybody trying to enrich themselves and then get out, get in and get out like a lick. That's what the government is now, hitting a lick. You hit a lick and get out. That's what the government is. That's what Donald Trump doing, hitting a lick. And these old white MAGA Republicans are letting them do it, and they justifying every single thing he's doing, looking like idiots doing it. You know, this man is incompetent. This man always been incompetent, and and it's showing right here every single day. It's showing, you know, yeah, he sit up here and complain about Joe Biden being old, Joe Biden being incompetent, being his brain function was shut down and stuff like that. And we sitting here watching Trump do it in real time, and nobody's saying, and no supporters aren't saying, I'm not supporters, the people in the government, the legislative branch, equal branch of government, the legislative branch, or sit back and I guess they not the Republican Party in the legislative branch, or sitting here and just bending the knee and doing everything this man asks, and sitting here and letting this man, drive this country into the ground. They don't care. As long as they don't get primary, that's all they care about. So when they do step up, what happens? Trump threatened the primary, and what they do? They retire like punks. Let you know, man. In government, they can't, whatever, man. They can't face no. They want the American people to sacrifice and do all this, and they can't even sacrifice. They don't sacrifice anything. When damn pressure gets going, they quit. They run away. They run back and go play golf and go back to their damn corporate job that they had before they became a damn congressman or whatever. They don't care. They're Republican. They probably be on the board of Fox News, like damn, what's his name, Paul Ryan. They don't care. They don't care about. They don't care about the American people. They care about your votes. That's all they care about. They have no compassion, sympathy. They're taking everything away, and y'all are just sitting here just allowing it to happen and don't bother. Like, y'all not doing nothing. I'm just calling how I see it. I don't care if people get mad. You know, you got this idiot Mike Johnson. He just looks like an idiot, just doing anything this man said. This man is third in line, and if the president was gone, the vice president JD Vance will become president. If something happened to JD Vance, you know who will be president after that? The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. That clown. He acts like he just tells straight up lies. He don't even try to hide it. He just, I don't care. I tell a lie. What you gonna do about it? My daddy president. What you gonna do about it? I mean, that's what it is, and that's I mean, I'm just calling out how I say it. I ain't trying to. I'm just calling out how I say it. I just call things how I see it. You know, I'm not going to sit up here and say that the other party. I'm going to sit here and say the Democratic Party is doing or sitting up here being flawless or acting phenomenal, because they're not. Because they had done better, Trump wouldn't have been in office. I mean, they fumbled how they dealt with the whole Joe Biden situation as far as him, running again and stuff. The the way they fumbled that whole situation is the reason why we are going through this right now. If they would have handled that situation better, we could have been avoided, of all this, this incompetence and all of this, mass confusion and you know all of this scandal, corruption, the president simply just stealing money, just taking money from air and just and they don't care. And people don't in the Republican Party don't care. They don't realize that what's there's life after Trump. What they gonna do? There's on Trump the only one that can do what he's doing. If these people sit up here and try to do what he's gonna do, they gonna fail. I mean, damn. I mean, Marco Rubio, man. I just have no respect for him. What the hell, man? This man sat up there and called you Little Marco and treat you like a clown, but you sitting up there, yes sir, daddy, yes sir, yes sir. That's him, Marco Rubio. Ted Cruz, Ted Cruz. I'm sorry, Eduardo Rafael Cruz, the man who, when I first got to Texas in 2020, 2021, it was December. I got in Texas December 31st, 2020. I got to Texas 7 days before January 6th when that happened. And when I got in Texas, a month later, ice storm came, and Texas couldn't deal with ice storm because y'all Texas, it's in the South, deep South. They don't deal with stuff like that. They don't have the equipment to deal with stuff like that. So, ice storm that might have been laughable everywhere else was a disaster for Texas, and they shut Texas down. You know, and what did Ted Cruz do? He got caught going to Cancun. And then after he got caught, what did Ted Cruz do? He blamed it on his daughter. The only true thing Donald Trump has ever said when he called Ted Trump lying Ted. That's the only truth he told. He's here caping for him too, man. This man sit up here and talk about your wife, man. What kind of moral do you got? How you sit up here and look at your wife? You sitting here, you know, you sitting up here worshiping a man who sitting there and just talk junk about your wife, man. Don't you got any balls, man? What in the world? Sitting there looking like the daggone, what is it, the grandfather of the monster, man, that little werewolf. That's what he look like. But that's, it's just sad. No, I ain't, no, I don't want to talk like that. I don't want to say that. It's not a sad time, you know, it's an opportunity. But people got to stay vigilant, man. You can't sit up here and just because things are looking like, looking, things are looking all bad now. Don't mean to stay like that. Bad times don't last forever. Bad times do not last forever. No, we'll be okay. We just gotta stay vigilant. We just gotta you know, stay involved, stay engaged. Do not let these people distract you. Do not let them discourage you. I don't care how many, threaten you to burn books and all that, man. We got to educate ourselves. We got to educate our kids. We got to keep this going. Don't sit up here and listen to these people with all this rhetoric, but all they trying to do is get reelected and scare you to death and make you think that everything is gloom and doom when it's not. It's not. But we just, as a people, man, we just gotta stick together. We gotta stick together and don't let a few wealthy people sit up here and dictate how you gonna live your life. They not there. Them rich people, them billionaires, they don't struggle to pay their light bill. They don't worry about $4 gas. They don't do that. You know, them senators don't give a damn about $4 gas. They don't got to pay it. So what the hell they worry about? They ain't in no. They not panicking. What they need, what I'm telling you, the obvious answer to fix part of the fix that government would just give everybody term limits. If they need two-term limits, 2 terms, everybody. The president only has if the president can only have 2 terms, everybody in the government should only have to have 2 terms. Not in the legislative branch should only have 2 terms. That's it. 2 terms. You get in there, you got 2 terms to make a difference. All these people sitting here living, sitting all of them, Democrat, Republican. These old people sitting here making a career out of sitting here pushing laws down the road and not passing them. They made a career out of doing that. All of them. They claim they work hard, but they don't pass nothing. What in the hell are they doing in there? Playing spades? Playing dominoes? What they doing in there? They ain't playing. They ain't passing laws. What they in there doing? What they in there talking about? They sit there for all them months and don't pass nothing. The damn government shut down and they still shut down. They sit here, they don't care. That's what I heard, said TMZ getting into the damn business of the government. They gonna start, calling these damn Congress people out. They're sitting up here living a high life, but there's a government shutdown. You know, start calling the people out, man. Start calling these damn hypocrites out, because that's what they are. They're hypocrites. Not all of them. Not all of them. Yeah, all this stuff, bro, man. I'm just saying, just you got to be, like I said, yes. And I went all over the place today. Like I said, you got to be healthy. You got to live healthy, healthy mind, healthy spirit, healthy soul, healthy body. Like I said, you got to educate yourself, have a healthy mind, man. Educate yourself, know what's going on out here, man. Don't, us is, one thing I criticize us is, in North Carolina, but it's not our fault because, black voters were disenfranchised, around the time where I spoke of about the Wilmington massacre, the Wilmington riots back in the late 1800s. After that, North Carolina enacted like very strict, voter, you know, voter laws that like poll tax, literacy tests, the laws that they passed for voter restriction in North Carolina, they disenfranchised like 2 generations of voters. So by the time, my generation came around in North Carolina, we were never encouraged to go vote growing up. We never, I never heard my parents say, yo, I might go there and vote. Maybe once or twice, maybe. But as a community, there was never any community voter outreach. Not in North Carolina. There was never anything to bring us in to teach us how to vote. I first voted at Fayetteville State. I voted for Bill Clinton. I couldn't vote in '92 because I was 17 years old when when it was Bill Clinton versus George H.W. Bush. I didn't couldn't vote there because I was in 12th grade, but I was 17. I wasn't. It was November '92. I just got into the. I just started my 12th grade year. I was 17 years old, so I couldn't vote yet. So couldn't vote again. I couldn't vote till I was we couldn't vote till 20 and voted for Bill Clinton. But yeah, we didn't never in our community we never like you know I said it was because our history and stuff in North Carolina, man. Black, especially in southeastern North Carolina, man. It's been a terrible history for for our people in that region of North Carolina, man. It just the racism, slavery and the effects from that, Jim Crow, There was a lot of people, like when slavery ended in that area, there was a lot of, people who were that got land. A lot of black people that got land, you know, from the people who they worked for, people who land they sharecrop, and they were given that land. But the only, but we weren't educated. It took us a while. We weren't educated to the system of the United States because it wasn't meant for us to be included in it. So we weren't educated in the ins and outs of a system, which means when they were given the land, they didn't know that they needed to sign a deed or they needed legal documentation saying that that was their land. But the white people knew that. So black people thinking that they had their land, and for a while they did have their land. But when the white people needed that land for whatever, for farming, fertilizer, for whatever reason they needed that land, all they had to do was go to court and say this person does not legally own this land because there's no documentation, no legal documentation. It's been notarized or anything to say that this person owns this land. So by that alone, by you know, so by the with default of the system that was meant to take them out was the same system that took the land from, the same system that kept us out of owning anything or being educated was the same system that took the land from them. So, like I said, the history of black people in North Carolina and in South Pitt, man, just a bad history. You know, it's just a bad history. So we were never like encouraged to go vote. We was always told like, you ain't gonna make a difference. This is a system. It ain't gonna change. Whoever they want to win gonna win anyway. Stuff like that. So it's hard. It's hard. Hearing that your whole life, and a whole community hearing stuff like that their whole life. It's hard to get them to change and stuff and come around to at least trust in any part of the system to allow themselves to go vote. Man. But when we do go vote, we move elections, because we have power. And I hope that, we understand that and we can, build on that in the future. I hope we can. Really hope we can. I'm hopeful. I'm not a person that thinks like gloom and doom, man. I think, we're hopeful, man. I'm really hopeful. Because, we don't went through a whole lot. We went through a whole lot and we still here, and that's not by accident. We still here and we're strong. We don't went through everything. People, look at everything we've gone through our existence. Just in the United States, look at everything we've gone through, and we still here. Who else could have done that? Our oppressors wasn't be able to go through that. We did. The situation been reversed, and let's go. We'll call it out the way it is. The situation been reversed, and white people got treated the way that the white people got treated the way that we got treated by them. Oh, that would be a state right now. They couldn't take it. And that's a fact. That is a fact. Well, like I said, I'm glad that I'm glad that I see like positive. I see like rays of light from us. I still see their hope. We have a chance to move forward. Make our voices heard a lot more and stuff like that, man. Like I said, but we just got to come together, man. We just got to stop, let people divide us. We got to come together no matter what. We got to, don't be afraid to speak your mind. Call out stuff that you feel like is wrong, and don't let nobody silence you. Man. We all got a voice. Use your voice. Use your voice. You can make a difference with your voice, and I hope you understand that. I hope you understand that, because I care. And don't nobody else care. I care. Thank y'all for coming with me tonight on this little journey. I know we talked about health and then went somewhere else, talked about politics a little bit. I said that, but that's the way I do, man. Just that's how we gonna cut it up sometimes. Don't be afraid to to veer off the road sometimes, but we still on the road. We ain't gonna be in a ditch nowhere. We still on the road. We just going on another path. That's all good. We still gonna have fun. We still gonna cut it up. That's how we're gonna do it. And I'm gonna be right here tomorrow. We're gonna do the same damn thing again, like it ain't nothing. You know. And I hope y'all, like I said, I hope y'all feeling this. I hope y'all can come out here, and vibe with me, give me your time, because I truly appreciate y'all for, giving me your time. I know sometimes I don't have a set schedule that's hard, so I can't like sort of like have a certain time every day when I go live, but when I do, I try to send it out, send it out to my peeps and let them look at it, check it out, see what's going on, see how and get positive and get feedback from them, positive, negative, and stuff, and that's how I get better. Listen to what y'all have to say, because I'm here for y'all. So y'all let me know what I need to do to be better. And I'll listen to everything. I'll listen to everybody. You know, shout out to all my fam in Clinton. Give me shout out to my classmate Jazz. He just had a little eye surgery, man. Get well, my brother. Known him for a long time. Love you, my man. Big shout out to my man 6ix9ine, Travis Banks, Chef Six, my man. Tomorrow talk about when I chill with 6ix9ine up here that when he went to Winston-Salem, when he was at Wake Forest, and I chill with him out there, might delve into that a little bit, have a little bit of fun up there with my man, you know. Shout out to him, man, at live. Shout out to him and rest in peace, chill well. Man, keep your head up, man. It's just hard, man, losing your brother. He was my brother too, man. And I know you think about it every day. And I know, I talk to you a lot, and I'll call you, make sure mentally you're doing all right, man. Because I know it's a struggle every day, man. Because, chill, chill with the man. Chill. Oh my God, we got, oh, that'd be another show. Talk about, adventures with Chill Will and Bobby Hill and Ant Live. But yeah, I will hope y'all have a good night. Take it easy. Kiss your kids. Tell your loved ones that you love them. You know, just and help people out, man. You never know when it's your time. You never know when you won't wake up, man. So it's enjoy the time you have here. Take advantage of it. Just give love. That's all. That's all I have for you. Good night. I love you. See you tomorrow.